Soon after, the two finally make it past the mountains, emerging onto the peaceful scenery of the hills. Abel is impressed that they not only fought wyverns but gathered a ton of magic stones that will bring in a pretty good pay when they arrive in the Empire. This suddenly makes Ryo curious, and he asks exactly which country they are heading towards, hoping it's literally anywhere but the Dabuhi Empire. Abel reassures him, saying that the Dabuhi Empire is actually farther north, and Ryo lets out a relieved sigh. Seeing Ryo react like that, Abel gets confused and asks if he has some personal grudge against the Empire. Ryo says he doesn't have anything against its people, but Ryo finds the name Dabuhi so evil that he would rather just avoid it altogether. Abel gives him a weird look, finding this logic bizarre. Just then Ryo notices a road far ahead, and Abel quickly realizes that since it runs east to west, the mountains they crossed might not have been ordinary at all. But when Ryo asks what's on his mind, Abel just waves him off, saying it's nothing, and mentions that the road probably leads to a town. Ryo immediately rejoices, thrilled at the thought of finally sleeping in an actual bed, and Abel tells him that he should also try out the local food there. By nightfall they reach the town and settle down in an inn for dinner. While they are eating, Abel suggests that Ryo should register with the Adventurers Guild, explaining that a guild card serves as an ID and lets him avoid taxes whenever he enters a new city. Abel reminds Ryo that he had to pay a silver coin out of his own pocket to cover for him at the town entrance. Ryo immediately starts teasing Abel, asking if he is really keeping notes on every single coin Abel spends helping out a friend. Abel sighs slightly at Ryo's cheap attempt to shame him, but he pushes through anyway, pointing out another benefit. If Ryo joins the Adventurer Guild, he can sell magic stones and monster materials directly to the guild at a great price. Abel further explains that only alchemists know how to use those materials effectively, and Ryo is instantly interested, wanting to learn more. Before Ryo can ask questions, the waitress arrives with dinner, and Ryo is shocked when he sees a plate of curry. Ryo struggles to comprehend how curry could possibly exist here already. After all, even in the most reincarnation stories, the main character usually has to travel and struggle desperately to recreate that perfect taste of home. But one bite proves that this curry is exactly like the one Ryo enjoyed back home. Completely overwhelmed by nostalgia and deliciousness, Ryo finishes off the entire plate in seconds and immediately orders another plate. The next morning, Ryo is still hyped up about the curry he ate the night before and playfully accuses Abel of keeping yet another secret from him. Abel freaks out, a little confused about what secret Ryo is talking about this time. But Ryo just laughs it off, saying Abel needs to tell all the local dessert shops he might have overlooked. Abel quickly turns away, awkwardly admitting he will, and Ryo just stares after him, wondering why Abel is acting so weird. They hit the road again and eventually arrive at the town of Lin, a place surrounded by endless fields of wheat. At the town gate they are greeted by Nemur, one of the guards, who is completely stunned when he recognizes Abel. Abel had been reported missing several months ago, so Nemur is overjoyed to see him back safe, and he warmly thanks Ryo for helping his friend return home. Nemur enthusiastically shakes Ryo's hand and then catches up on old times with Abel. Once inside town, Abel suggests they head directly to the Adventurers Guild, explaining that if he vouches for Ryo, he can immediately skip from F rank to D ranked upon registration. Usually new adventurers start at the bottom, but having someone ranked B or higher to back you up can speed up the process significantly. As soon as they enter the guild, everyone is shocked and thrilled to see Abel again. People crowd around Abel as if he were a hero, and Ryo watches happily, glad to see that Abel has so many good friends here. Deciding to give Abel some space to enjoy his moment, Ryo steps outside. When Ryo starts walking, he suddenly runs into an elf girl, and Ryo is instantly charmed by her. Strangely, the elf girl is just as intrigued by Ryo, staring at him in shock because of the unusual coat he is wearing. She quickly recognizes it as the Fairy King's robe, mentioning that the Fairy King must really like Ryo to have given him such a rare gift. Completely baffled by her words, Ryo tries to figure out what's going on, but before he can ask any questions, the elf girl apologizes, saying she's in a hurry. She says that she hopes they will meet again soon, and then walks away. Ryo stands there completely bewildered, still trying to process what just happened, when Abel comes outside looking for him. Abel drags him back inside the guild, introducing Ryo to all his friends as the guy who saved his life. Everyone starts thanking Ryo, showering him with praise and appreciation. Thereafter, Abel takes Ryo straight up to the reception desk, confidently telling the receptionist that he wants Ryo to be registered as a D-rank adventurer based on his recommendation. The receptionist is visibly stunned, pointing out that Abel and his team have never endorsed anyone before. Abel simply smiles, explaining that Ryo is exceptional. The receptionist politely insists that Ryo still needs to pass his strength evaluation before officially ranking up, so Abel asks to speak directly with Guild Master Hugh about it. The receptionist tells them to wait for a bit, and shortly afterwards, Hugh bursts into the room overjoyed after hearing Abel is back. Abel introduces Ryo to the Guild Master, requesting that Ryo be given the rank-up test. Hugh mentions they will need proof of Ryo's strength for that, and Abel casually replies that Ryo is even stronger than he is, leaving the Guild Master in total disbelief. Abel quickly backs up his claim by pulling out all the magic stones they gathered from the wyverns, and Hugh instantly freaks out. Hugh exclaims that the sheer quantity of stones indicates they have taken down enough wyverns to threaten an entire country. Abel calmly reassures him that there is no danger of an attack since they hunted the wyverns south of the Malefic Mountains. Curious, Ryo wonders if the name Malefic Mountains has some special meaning, prompting Hugh to explain that no one in recorded history has safely crossed them. Hugh emphasizes that the mountains are so notoriously dangerous that even elite adventurers wouldn't risk exploring there without a crucial reason. Astonishingly, Ryo and Abel are now the first to achieve such an impossible accomplishment, immediately agreeing to promote Ryo without further testing. Suddenly, Abel's party members burst into the room, overcome with emotion after thinking they would never see Abel alive again. Seeing this heartfelt reunion, Hugh decides it's best to give them some space and offers to guide Ryo outside to finalize his registration. As Ryo turns to leave, Abel quickly calls out, asking him to wait at the reception desk once he is done, mentioning he wants to show Ryo someplace special. Thereafter, Hugh leads Ryo towards his office, explaining that Abel's group, known as the Crimson Sword, is among the strongest and most respected adventurer parties in town. Ryo doesn't find that surprising at all, but Ryo is still unsure if he truly deserves the jump straight to D rank. Seeing this, Hugh reassures him by saying that while Abel is indeed strong, but defeating even a single wyvern alone is beyond his abilities, which makes it clear to him that Ryo played a major role in taking down the wyverns. Just then, the receptionist walks into the office carrying the equipment needed for Ryo's registration. Hugh excuses himself immediately, saying he has piles of paperwork waiting, leaving Ryo in her hands. The receptionist cheerfully introduces herself as Nina, then begins asking Ryo the standard registration questions. Nina explains that Ryo can use the guild lodgings for up to 300 days from registration, after which he will have to find a place of his own. Next, Nina tells him about a dungeon exploration training course the guild offers to new adventurers. Ryo immediately expresses his interest in joining the course, and Nina tells him to come to the meeting hall 2 days from now at precisely 9. And Ryo is momentarily stunned that this world even has clocks. Afterwards, Nina moves on to complete the actual registration. Nina instructs Ryo to place his hand on the crystal device on the table. When Ryo does, the device scans and transfers his data onto a metallic plate resting atop it, turning it into his official guild card. Nina congratulates Ryo, formally welcoming him as a registered adventurer, and then both of them step outside the office. Not long afterwards, Abel takes Ryo out to explore the town, mentioning that he would like to buy him some new clothes and a staff as payment for escorting him safely to his hometown. Ryo happily accepts the clothes but questions why he would need a staff. Abel points out that magicians always use a staff to cast spells, but Ryo tells him he can use magic perfectly fine without one. Ryo also explains that whenever he fights up close he prefers using a sword, so a staff would be pretty pointless for him. Abel is caught off guard by this, and he is even more shocked when Ryo reveals the small knife he carries around actually serves as his sword. Then Ryo mentions that more than equipment, what he really needs right now is some information about how things work here. Shortly after that, Ryo learns that this world uses the exact same measurements of time as Earth, including hours, days, weeks, months, years, and even the measurement. It now dawns on him that someone from Earth must have come here a long time ago and influenced the way things operate, explaining all the familiar things Ryo has come across. Right then, Abel returns from the store after paying for all the stuff Ryo picked out, cheerfully informing him that the best part of the day is still ahead. Then Abel guides Ryo to a large inn where all his friends from the guild are gathered, throwing a celebration for Abel's safe return. The party goes too late, leaving Ryo exhausted, so that by the next morning Nina has to take him to his lodgings. Nina brings him to a room where 2 other fresh adventurers are already there. Then the brown-haired guy introduces himself as Nils, and the blonde guy is Ito. Both greet Ryo warmly, and once Nina leaves, Nils immediately starts gushing about how much he likes her and how cute she is. Ito quickly shuts him down, reminding him that Nina is way out of his league. Then Ito chats with Ryo, telling him about life at the guild dorms. Moments later, Nina returns again, this time bringing along another nervous boy named Amon. Curious about his youthful appearance, the others ask his age. Amon shyly reveals he just turned 16, but with both parents recently deceased, Amon has decided to earn a living as an adventurer. Nina gently asks them to make Amon feel welcome, then reminds Rio and Amon to join her at the meeting hall the next morning for their dungeon exploration training. At the same time, Abel excitedly recounts to his party all the incredible things he saw Rio do. Using magic effortlessly without his staff, crashing wyverns with icicles, and even crushing rock golems with gigantic ice blocks. Skeptical Rin, one of the party members, dismisses Abel's stories as impossible, arguing that magic simply doesn't work that way due to limitations like range and distance, but Abel firmly insists that everything he said was true. But then another party member named Lihaya comments thoughtfully that there is only one mage who has ever been rumored to wield magic of such scale, and he is the legendary Inferno magician. But since nobody has actually witnessed his insane magic firsthand, his feats remain nothing more than rumors. This leads to a brief moment of worry. If Rio is really that powerful, what would happen if he turned against them, or worse, sided with the Dabuhi Empire? But Abel confidently reassures them that the Dabuhi Empire won't be an issue, given how strongly Rio dislikes its name. Meanwhile, at the lodging, Rio is joking and laughing along with his roommates and is amazed at how drastically different his life has suddenly become. So now what will happen next? Subscribe to our channel to find out what will happen next. Friends, before we wrap up, we've recently launched a membership program where you can enjoy perks like early access to videos and exclusive content just for members, and many more to enhance your interactions. If you're interested, consider joining our membership. To enjoy these benefits, check out the link in the description to join. So friends, if you enjoyed our recap video, please like and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.